Welcome. The first part of this video is going to cover the do's and don'ts of what you want to do inserting text into video. My Canon camera shoots in MOV or QuickTime format, which Titler EX won't display. So regardless of whatever format your video happens to be in, if you can't see the images in the Titler EX composition window, rendering to MP4 will resolve it. Running a screen recorder and also doing video on my computer is hard on its resources. So we will be doing most of my title work on a still image. But we still need to cover our video basics. With only 2 paragraph or title tracks available to you within Titler EX, applying the titler to an entire video clip makes no sense for a couple of reasons. First reason being that you could only work with 2 titles throughout the entire clip. Second is controlling how long the title is displayed. I've already prepared a video clip with 2 areas that I want to apply titles to. So I'm going to go to my first segment and apply titler to this. One more reason short clips are good, it's a little easier to control how long your title is on the screen. So once we get titler applied here, all we have to do is go into the program. While it's true the video will now display in the composition window with no trouble, pushing the play button in the video window will make your video go black. So with the video paused, you're going to want to manipulate your scrubber over here, which will allow you to view your video and make decisions on where you want to place your text. I'm going to open up the library and I'm going to apply a quick preset just so I can show you something. Hovering over animation icons displays what they do in your viewing window. And I will be covering that better a little later. For right now, I'm just going to shove this text up and out of the way so I can make a different point. When you start adding effects, the timeline starts getting a little crowded, so we're going to shrink the display window a bit here. I'm going to select Add Paragraph, come up to my library and add an effect to it. As you can see, the timeline is getting crowded. Also, I wasn't on the first frame of my video when I applied this new effect. So that is why this effect does not fill the timeline completely. Altering the length of an effect is done the same way that you alter the length of a title. I'm just going to click and drag and reset the time. All these bars and words down here are effects that you can alter and control. We'll get into these things on the still image. I'm going to hit OK to get out of this. I'm going to come down here and add titler to this clip. I've applied 2 titles, which maxes out Titler FX. You can drag titler into your timeline again and add 2 more effects if you wish. But I don't really recommend it because what's going to happen is the text that exists on your video is not going to show up in the new filter applied, making it difficult to place the new text correctly. But it is an option that could work if you don't try to get too fancy. You can even do something like this. But with the titler window this small, it's really difficult to work with. I recommend you just render out your video, then apply additional text after the fact. But this option does exist. Okay, I'm going to close out of this, load in a nice still image, and let's get on to creating some really neat text. Okay, I'm going to try not to detail you to death. Let's go into your library, under Effects. Okay, they give you some preset animations. Got 5 folders here. So open one of them up. Just hover your pointer over the icon and you will see what the effect does. Not too difficult to work with. Starter pack of effects. There's several choices to each of these. Okay, there's some animations in here. Some effects do a lot, some not so much. You just got to go through and see what you got, figure out what you want. Styles is empty. If you custom designed a font with certain colors, characteristics, etc., your saved custom style would appear here. So under templates, we got all these. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay, this is where all your preset pretty cool effects are. This is where you got stuff like this. I mean, to me, that's some of the neatest stuff they got. Transitions. A lot of them to choose from. I mean, this is a lot of stuff. It'd be hard to use all this stuff. But it gives you so many nice effects. You know, it's text that moves and does things is more interesting than text that just sits there, in my opinion. Also down here we have another starter pack, several more things. So, I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out what's going on. Now, I'm going to apply this particular effect. What I was talking about down here, you see all these windows and individual things? If you wanted to, if you didn't like this fade in effect, okay, this is, you come up here, this gives you options to change it. And look, you got linear, pop letters, slow finish, smooth. You got to play with these things to figure out what they do, okay? Because I would go absolutely bananas trying to point all these things out to you, and I would bore you to death, okay? This is turn. This is a regulatable thing, and it's usually best to be somewhere in the middle of the effect. See, like here, you can change the way it, and the more you play, the more things you can change. If you don't want the turn effect at all, hit the delete key. It's gone. It don't turn anymore. So that's what I mean. You can you can change these things to your heart's content. And don't worry about ruining your presets. Every time you reopen the program, the library repopulates and everything is fresh. And what can happen is, completely by accident, you can play with this stuff and come up with something that is just very, very neat. A lot of these presets are well thought out, and there's presets for almost everything. I mean, you can play with this stuff until you almost want to throw up and make you sick. So let's move on to something else. One other thing, you can also click on these dots. These are keyframes. Those will change the behavior and how fast certain things happen. So as you're playing with this stuff, eventually you're going to come up with something that you really enjoy and like and will want to use more than once. So come up to your file, save presets, and you have areas to save it to. And they will appear in your library with the rest. Name it and save yourself the trouble of figuring it out later. Okay, so let's get out of this one. One of the coolest things that you can do to this text is under style. Okay, your face. Okay, this is a preset. This is why this is like this. But if you go to texture, this is your 3D face. All these options open up here for you. Okay, so let's say you want the face of your text to look like this. Open, and there you go. Now, this looks like this. You can go to stretch to paragraph, which stretches out the picture to the entire set of text, and it changes it dramatically, okay? Because now it's just one image stretched across the text. That's basically what that is. Environmental map, I don't know. It doesn't help you, that's for sure. So I'm not going to worry about that. Now, your text for extruding it is here. Extrusion is pushing your text out, basically. You can push it, quite some distance. We're going to our 3D to expose that. And we can extrude way out. Okay. Now, this is an okay thing. Another possibility is our endless scenario. What else you can do is put whatever you want. Okay, let's say, how about just this single maple leaf on a post? Okay, open it up. There it is, a leaf on every single. See, that's kind of cool. And any picture that you want to use, you can use. That's the beauty of it. So you can do it with one leaf, which that's a little dull, but so you can see there's plenty of possibilities here. You can go with gradients, okay? I just clicked on this upper corner here. I'm going to turn that whatever. I'm going to come to this bottom corner. I could leave it white, but I'm going to change it to that. Okay. That's how you change your two colors. And depending on where you want to move this circle to will depend on how the text comes out. So as you can see, there's endless possibilities that way. You can go to just solid colors. Now, 3D outline. That's the outer part of your text. That you can also extrude. And you can see that. Or maybe it's the inner part of the text, I don't know. But anyway, the outline of the text is now extruding. Same thing, change its color. Okay, and then it starts looking neat pretty fast. The outline. Oh, the outline, okay. The outline is the outline of the text, so let's make the outline of the text like that. And, it starts looking neat fast. One thing about extrusions is the longer they get, the more they tend to fill in the gaps around the letters. It gets a little harder to read. You might want to go to a different font, something a little more. Looks a little psychedelic 60s or something, huh? Okay, so let's stick with that and apply the effect. Okay, thanks for checking out my video. Hope it helps you. And if you've got enough patience to do rotoscoping, I've got a tutorial out for that you can do within Corel. Goodbye for now. Take care.